Are you right wing or left wing? Um, my favorite wings are, um, honestly, I really like buffalo wings.
Hi, and welcome back to Through the Muck and the Mire. I'm your host, David Hollifield. This week, I'm going to switch it up a little bit and talk about some positive stories. I would like to try to do this weekly. The media will have you believe that if you walk outside today, you're going to get murdered or raped or robbed or beat up or die in a fire or be hate crimed or, die in a terrorist attack. Well, statistics really just don't support that, and here are some crime statistics. So, as you can see, violent crimes and property crimes have been dropping for the last 30 years, since the early 1990s. Pretty much the only crimes that have gone up that I know of are, it's really reporting has gone up. I don't know if the crime has actually gone up, but it's vehicle theft. But I think really the incident reporting has gone up because you have to file a police report in order for you to get an insurance claim. So, anyways, that's neither here nor there. The first story of today is in a Kroger in Nashville. I think it was Nashville. Lashinda Williams had been living in her car. She was battling with drug addiction and homelessness. She was sleeping in her car in the parking lot, and eventually she was doing this for a long time. It wasn't like one night and they came out and hired her. It was like she had been sleeping in her car for a while in the Kroger parking lot, and the hiring manager for the store eventually sparked up a conversation with her, asked her to go to I guess they had a job fair. She applied, he hired her, and it said like 8 months later, at the point when this story was written, Williams, so 8 months, she's working in the self-checkout lane, and she'd saved up enough money to buy herself a one-bedroom apartment. Then Kroger's Nashville division got together with the community, and they donated money to buy furniture and clothing and all kinds of stuff. And obviously her response is amazing. I was sleeping in the parking lot looking for something to eat. Now all my babies here love on me. No one abuses me. No one calls me dumb and stupid. And for the first time in my life, I finally got peace. So when I first read that, I got a little bit choked up at that statement at the end. I was like, it's amazing. Just positive stories like this are amazing. And I think that we need to share more of them. So on to the second story, which is about an Army Ranger who received the Medal of Honor. He was in Iraq in 2015 during ISIS's reign over the Middle East. There were at least 75 hostages in a building that was burning and on the verge of collapse. And he went in against orders. He was told to stand down and basically let that building go because it was about to collapse on itself. It was burning. He went in there, and there was a door that was like a metal locked door. It had two padlocks on it. He went in there with bolt cutters, cut off one lock. I think it said he had to run out, catch his breath because it was just smoke inhalation, and ran back in, cut the other bolt lock, got these people out, ran outside. And was he done? No, he wasn't. He ran back in like 2 or 3 more times to look for more people. And obviously, that heroism deserves, some type of reward. And I think the Congressional Medal of Honor should suffice. So, good on you. He's it doesn't say his rank here, but I believe it said that he was a sergeant major at this point now. So Patrick Payne, he was a sergeant first class at the time, and I think he's a sergeant major now. So Rangers lead the way. Let's see. Police reform. So we talk about police all the time, but it's usually, negative stories or focusing on violent protests or focusing on the stories of police abusing power or whatever. We don't talk about, has anything actually happened? What has come out of these protests? What, is Congress even talking about this stuff? A lot of people don't even know. Some people ask me, is anything even happening? Is there police reform? Well, there is, and it's coming from all sides of the aisle, left, right, and center. So the Congressional Black Caucus, which Kamala Harris and Cory Booker are part of. They brought forth their own police reform bill. Justin Amash, who is now a libertarian, he used to be a GOP congressman, brought forth his own and it's bipartisanship. He's got Democrats and Republicans that are supporting him, and that's to end qualified immunity for police. Rand Paul has his own, which is called the Justice for Breonna Taylor Act, which, ironically enough, a week or two ago, he was attacked by a mob of protesters who were shouting at him to say her name. He not only says her name, but he literally put her name on a bill and introduced it to Congress to get rid of no-knock raids. So that's awesome. And then the last story on there was Colorado. Colorado governor went ahead and said, screw it, I'm not going to wait for Congress. I'm not going to wait for a presidential executive order. I'm just going to do this myself, and that's, I commend him for that, because I think that states and municipalities and local, police departments, and we all have the power to do this at a much quicker rate and, at a more local level. So you don't have to wait for Congress, basically, is the point. If you do want to wait for Congress, there's at least 3 bills right there. If those are things that you do support, call your local congressman or congresswoman and tell them that they need to support that bill. And then, if you don't want to wait for Congress, then talk to your local legislative branch or the local governor, because either one of them can really take care of this. Obviously, the governor of Colorado did it. The state legislature can do it. But it is being done. There is progress being made. We might not see it all the time, but you have to look for it. And I recommend that you do that. Go on Google and search for yourself, because the answers are there. There was also the president's executive order back in June. So the president signed an executive order which was for police reform. The most important part, I thought, was the information sharing bit, and it says that the Attorney General shall create a database to coordinate the sharing of information between and among federal, state, local, tribal, and territorial law enforcement agencies concerning instances of excessive use of force related to law enforcement matters, accounting for applicable privacy and due process rights. And then it goes on to say, how they're going to use this. Basically, why I feel like this is, probably the most important part of that executive order was accountability. Essentially, it boils down to that. So if a police officer has a long record of excessive use of force complaints, and either that department's not really doing anything about it, or he actually does get fired because that law enforcement agency does hold him accountable, then he can still just hop over to the next jurisdiction and apply for a job. And there's not really like a nationwide database that tracks, whether or not their last police job, whether they were a good cop. So good cops also should support this. This shouldn't be a controversial thing. Like some people disagree with any qualified immunity or no-knock raids in emergency situations, which that's a debate for another day. But nobody should have an issue with holding police accountable when they've actually been found guilty of disciplinary violations. Or, the other aspect of that, which it says in there, was that if they quit, if they resign during the middle of an investigation, obviously that doesn't look very good for them. It kind of makes them look guilty, especially if they just hop over to another police precinct or something, So it's just a database to track that kind of stuff. And I think that is a move in the right direction. So yeah, that's pretty much it for this week. If you have any ideas, feel free to comment them or share them with me through my various platforms. I've got, in the comment section on YouTube is probably the easiest way, but I also have an Instagram and a Facebook, which you can message me on either one of those. If you want to drop an article, you come across a good positive news story, or you have an idea for some type of positivity that I can share with everybody, I would love to share it. So Have a great week and happy Monday.